San Francisco released updated information regarding the city's CCP virus or COVID-19 infection rates. Teenagers are seeing the highest number of infections. According to the latest from the California Department of Public Health, San Francisco's are testing positive for COVID-19 every day. The age group with the highest number of infections are 12 to 17-year-olds. The 7-day rolling average case rate shows the trend in new cases per 100,000 residents by vaccination status. Fully vaccinated residents are seeing an average of 169.5 new cases per week. Unvaccinated residents are seeing an average of 342.7 new cases. Despite a significantly higher number of cases compared to the same time last year, deaths are much lower. San Francisco listed 165 related deaths in January 2021, while 5 have been reported so far this month. The city notes that no vaccine completely prevents COVID-19 infections. A woman from Fremont is dead after being pushed onto subway tracks at the Times Square station in New York City. The alleged perpetrator has been arrested. NTD's Arian Pastar spoke with the passenger who was on the incoming train.
The 61-year-old suspect fled the scene after allegedly pushing 40-year-old Michelle Gueux onto the tracks, killing her. He later turned himself in. A video clip of him being led out of the station is circulating on the internet, where reporters ask him if he pushed Gueux onto the tracks.
Push that woman on. Go f***ing down! What are you doing? Push the woman on the tracks?
Yeah, because I'm God. Yes, I did.
Why?
Because I'm God. I can do it.
Why say it?
Because I'm God.
Anna Crutchen was a passenger on the incoming train that day.
I remember everybody was like pushed from the shock of the train stopping, the brakes hitting. And we waited. We thought that something happened, like another train is in the station already and we are waiting. And then right after, the person driving the train said that it is a customer injured.
With you experiencing something like that, are you afraid of taking the train in the future? Is that now in the back of your head, or how are you going to handle that?
I actually was afraid before. I was always careful walking next to the platform. So now I'm even more careful.
Some call the incident the latest anti-Asian hate crime, but others say the focus should be on mental illness.
Do you think this was a mental health problem, or do you think this was a racist anti-Asian attack?
I think it's mental issues rather than the discriminations. I think the mental issues.
Alan Butt is a care manager and has a social worker's license in Hong Kong. He points out that the suspect also attacked a Caucasian woman earlier. He says people with mental illness should get proper treatment.
They need more comprehensive service, especially monitoring their health.
Just 1 week before the deadly incident, the mayor and the governor had already talked about this problem. They said they want to get homeless and mentally unstable people out of the subway system and into permanent housing. Arian Pastar, NTD News, New York.
A ballot proposal would raise billions of dollars for electric cars and charging stations. The proposal calls for increasing taxes on high-income individuals and corporations to fund the program. A new proposal would fund several billions of dollars to go green if it gets on California's ballot and passes. The Clean Cars and Clean Air Act would provide financial incentives for those wanting to buy electric vehicles or set up EV charging stations. The Clean Cars and Clean Air Act proposal was filed on December 13th to the Attorney General's office and would be funded in one of two ways. Anyone who has taxable income over $2 million would be taxed by 1.75% on the portion over $2 million. Or corporations with a net income over $20 million will be taxed 2.45% on the portion over $20 million. Banks and financial corporations are exempt. According to the Orange County Register, proponents of the proposal must raise over $2 million needed to gather 623,000 signatures by July 11th. The proposal states that the largest sources of greenhouse gas emissions comes from transportation and wildfires. So part of the funds would go towards wildfire prevention and suppression. If passed, the new tax changes would begin on January 1st, 2023. David Lamb, NTD News, California. In Los Angeles, crews are working to clear tracks after a train derailed over the weekend. It's near the site where cargo thieves ransacked the cars last week. NTD's Eileen Ang brings us more.
Union Pacific crews worked to clear tracks after a train derailed in East Los Angeles. The derailment happened near the area where cargo thieves left thousands of empty boxes last week. Union Pacific told KTLA that 17 cars derailed at around 4 p.m. on Saturday. A spokesperson for the company said they are working to clean the debris. Anything that can be identified and returned to the shipper will be. They plan to donate the salvageable items and recycle other debris. The derailment is still under investigation. Last week, thousands of opened and damaged packages were strewn across the railway tracks in Lincoln Heights. Authorities say thieves would jump on the train, easily break the locks, and take whatever they see. Residents who live around the area say the robberies have always been around the railroad tracks, but have spiked during the pandemic. One YouTuber live-streamed thieves stealing from the cargo back in November.
There's really no locks. It's just what it is security tags that basically just let you know that nobody's entered the container.
He also recorded the police arresting 2 people who were previously looting from a cargo.
Somebody breaking into the trains. They had opened up 3 or 4 of the upper containers. And then the train actually stopped for a long time and they were up in the container tossing stuff out. Well, LAPD just showed up and is making an arrest of the 2 people who were breaking into the containers as they got in their car to drive away with what they had looted from the train.
In December, Union Pacific sent a letter to the Los Angeles County District Attorney asking for help to ensure consequences for those committing the crimes. It stated the individuals are caught and released in less than 24 hours. The no-cash bail policy is allowing re-victimization to Union Pacific by these same criminals. And the criminals boast to the officers that their actions won't have serious consequences anyway. In response, the DA's office said they will discuss this issue more in the coming weeks. Eileen Ang, NTD News, California.
California has seen a population decrease for the first time ever in the state's recorded history. Both the California Department of Finance and moving company U-Haul provided evidence of the exodus. NTD's Jason Blair has more.
California's population is shrinking. The Golden State is seeing a decreasing population from reasons ranging from low birth rates to people moving away. Employees from the moving company U-Haul say this is an ongoing trend.
California has always been a state, at least in my career with U-Haul, where we've had more outflow than inflow. And certainly that was increased by the pandemic in 2020. And so we had a lot more people leaving the state at that time.
The company reported California ranked 50 out of the 50 states and had the highest net loss of one-way U-Haul trucks. They also reported that they ran out of truck inventory in the state. Texas ranked number 1, while Florida ranked number 2.
We see a lot of growth coming from the East and West Coast. A lot of people moving here from California, New York. We also see a lot of people coming in from the Chicago markets.
U-Haul says the ranks are calculated by the number of one-way rentals going in versus going out of the state during a calendar year. Further, according to the California Department of Finance's annual report, California's population declined by 173,000 between July 2020 and July 2021. They also reported a continued trend of more people moving out of the state than in. Out of the state's 10 most highly populated counties, only Riverside, Sacramento, and Fresno counties had positive population increases. For the first time, all 9 San Francisco Bay Area counties simultaneously experienced a decrease in population. The Department of Finance says the principal reasons behind the decrease are the continued decline of births versus deaths and a continued decrease in foreign immigration. They also reported that since 2011, California has had more people moving out than people moving in. The recent report showed a 10-year high of a loss of 249,000 people moving out versus moving in. Jason Blair, NTD News, California.